Does anyone have questions?
What do the tokens translate into?
Tokens, models make about 5 cents a token.
But how come when the tokens were going down, not up?
They're all from separate people.
Yeah.
And they get to choose what to tip.
Right, but it's in your total tokens before?
Underneath the webcam.
Where it says log out in your total? It was going down before.
It was going down?
It was 7.
Or maybe it was at 6 and it went up to 7. I thought it was at 8 and it went down.
No. Oh, yeah, that's because that account is my spy account. So I was using that account to spy on the private I was doing. Right.
So what do you guys think?
So this is something you do before this. Yeah, this isn't just for.
Can we turn down that dingy, that like magical sound?
Sure.
So this is the first time you're using this?
Yeah.
What do you?
I thought she was like doing this like in her free time.
She is.
Oh.
Is your name Joey? Is that what
Yes.
I think that like this is like something very contemporary that like people do, but it's like not talked about kind of, and like I think it's interesting that you're like bringing it, that you like people create these like online personas that they have that are like not who they are in the real world, which I think is like really fascinating and like kind of frustrating too.
I think this is really interesting.
Yeah.
My mom, she does stuff like this. She's a dominatrix, and she's like on the web all the time. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to deal with it, but I guess to see it again, it's kind of open my mind to it. I guess maybe the opportunities that you gain by doing stuff like this, opportunities that you want, not necessarily need.
I'm confused as to like what you're trying to say.
Well, I wouldn't speak yet.
I feel like I don't know, like I guess personally, like I don't agree with things like this. And I'm trying to figure out like why bring it to like a classroom, like what?
Because
I don't know, I'm just like confused.
I guess because I am uncomfortable with this. I feel like for the longest time it was something I was embarrassed of, and I didn't tell anyone, and I kept it to myself because I was afraid of how someone would judge me just based on the labels that you're
But I
given.
mean, like, why did you do it in class? Like, why did you choose this setting?
I guess because I separate my personal life, like my life here in school, and my life online.
You have very, very passionate fans.
Do you know any of these like returning people or like
Yeah, these are like people that supported me.
Yeah.
I don't really, I always try to make it like beautiful, like my privates are always like silhouettes, and I try to do things that are just beautiful to watch. I was a little nervous, so it wasn't that great, but I tried to make it my own, because it was definitely something that I questioned, like this idea of whether or not you are deemed a whore for working on a site and, a site like that. feel like over the internet I do have more confidence, and I think it's just mostly because I don't have to worry about what my peers really think. Like, these are people, you know, who I feel like are over the internet, and, you know, I feel more open with my sexuality, and
Yeah, I mean, you're being defended as we speak. By
Yeah, they're
people that
defending you,
aren't
they love
there.
you.
Yeah, that could be anywhere.
Some of them are a little bit educated.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose like.
I think like webcamming is like super relevant because like that in terms of like what people pay for, like that sort of like the fall of the porn industry is related to webcamming and like fetishizing like real time. Like that's when people are like putting money into now. So I think it's definitely like a super relevant thing. But I just wonder if for you is the art in it like the sort of the way you perform for it, or like you know like what's actually on the camera, or just like the like just sort of latching on to like a contemporary thing, or is it like sort of the decoration or whatever you're saying, like you're saying that there's all these you're saying that it's like you're always sort of setting the scene. Is like the art in it just like what's on camera, or is it just more sort of partaking in this like act, or
I don't know. I always I always questioned like which me is the truer me, and I think that's a really odd question because I don't know. I'm a lot more closed up because I worry about sort of what's socially acceptable and, you know, how others would judge me, but, you know, at the same time, you know, I also do have this persona, you know, over the internet, and I do cater to, you know, entertaining people.
Men.
Yeah.
They're
entertaining men.
And the problem, the issue for me is that it's a very normative kind of sexual performance, right? Like you're doing, it's very sort of dignified in a way. I mean, you're not being that revealing, but we know what we can imagine about your body and your position in relation to these people who are not being watched, who are commenting, which I think is really interesting. I mean, I'm like, I'm kind of shocked.
has anyone ever tried to find you?
Yeah.
Or like an obsession has started?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Have they like actually physically found you?
No.
Approached you? Yeah, that's
I've had people say like, "Oh, do you go to this school?" You know, and I'm like,
Have they been right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you prepared them for this performance, or they had no idea?
I tweeted. So I tweeted that I was getting on and that I'm doing a performance.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really turned this room like I don't really want to think that I do porn. Maybe I mean I do, but I kind of take like this group of people really seriously too, because they've been there and they've helped me they supported me through like tuition and friends, and they buy my art, and like they're really here to support me because I guess I don't know, I really don't.
But they're also there to like get off.
I don't think always. I think a lot of
Not always, sure.
yeah, I think a lot of people actually come on and like just, you know, I don't take off my clothes in public chat, so I spend most of my time in public chat, which is this right now, and I kind of just, you know, I hang out, I talk to them, they request music, I play music, I dance, and, you know, so I just sort of, yeah. So.
Did you tell them about this specific performance then? Like, that you would want them to hear our critique after it as well? Or
Yeah, I wanted to hear I really wanted to see what would happen to the room, because I know that I'm kind kind of putting myself in a vulnerable position, and like they know that they're being projected. So, you know, I know I'll also bring in people who are gonna like feel good about like, you know, being able to say something that's degrading or hurtful. You know, but I was kind of interested to see like what would happen with the room and with my classmates and
Yeah. Guys, if you can just focus on the critique for a second. I know it's obsessive to read the thing.
Are you ever worried about like if anyone sees you that you know in the real world?
yeah.
Is your face normally hidden?
What?
Is your face normally hidden, or do you show?
No, I show my face. It's only hidden when I like am nude or you know, or I'll try to cover up, you know, private parts in different ways. And I've been trying to like branch out to performance art. So and create performances for like these pay-by-minute shows.
Do you get to keep like, do you have a way of ripping that with video footage or no?
I think there is ways, but I've never done it myself.
It would be cool if you had like a series of like sort of performances that were kind of like this, but also looked like your photos or something that were for this, but then you could also that they were like videos that you had access to, like sort of the hard copy or something, and you could do something with that. I think.
Well, I guess like the two lives aren't really too separate because I make work that's really very much influenced from this. Yeah, and I don't tell people that. They're like, why self-portraiture? And I can't really give them an honest answer because I hide this from everyone. And
How do we parse the notion of respect in this? Because there's a lot of this in this feed about we respect you, blah, blah, but these are people who generally, I would imagine, go online to watch pretty girls and masturbate, right? Largely on these sites.
right.
And you are getting this kind of respect for maybe not being quite as revealing as some of the other people, but it's interesting to get that respect in the context of like a whole group of people who, women who are equally trying to be creative about their incomes, who might be more, right? So that it's interesting that you're differentiating yourself in a way by trying to garner this kind of respect and being given this respect, and it becomes this community, but like the community is based on commerce.
Right.
That's a lot of
Well, not most, but a lot.
Yeah.
This isn't a critique of what you're doing. This is just sort of like presenting it this way for the class.
But I think in a way it's sort of like, you know, like just a simple like act of kindness to someone, you know, in the street. I think it's not really like it's commercial when someone like is asking you for help, asking you to, I don't know, like a homeless person, you know, asking for change. I don't think I'm a homeless person asking for change, but I don't think like they when they tip, I don't think they always feel like, you know, they're getting a, you know, something in return. A lot of times, like I would get tipped in public chat just out of like.
Yeah, like you said, it's not like you're giving them something that they want. They're just supporting you in a lot of ways. Like they build this relationship with you through this system.
Right.
So when you're having this particular thing, do you feel like you're performing for your audience online while answering the question?
I feel like I'm exposing like a side of me that I keep separate from this room, and then I'm exposing a side of me that I keep separate from, you know, my colleagues and my people who I So I think it's interesting to like do both simultaneously.
It's really interesting the way that you presented this because it's something that is very foreign to me. And it's like if you had just spoken about it, I don't think that I would have understood it like I am trying to understand it now. And like I think that I am reading all their comments because I think that it's just so different, like seeing how they react to you and like how it really is like they speak to you the same way that you speak to them, and it's kind of like was said before, like the community. It's like more than like what is projected in like the social way of thinking of it. You know?
No, it does.
Do you consider it performance what you're doing?
I think so. I think it is a performance. I think as soon as a camera is up and you're aware of people are watching you, it becomes a performance.
And what do you think about this community's calling themselves your friends?
I think in a way they can call me that because like I can call them that, and it's just simply because I'm just very like grateful for like everything they've given to me. You know, they buy my art, they support me, and they just really like they just come on and they just sort of like hang out with me.
Do you like talk to them like on the like tell them about your life? Like do they tell you advice about like how to live like outside of like your performances?
Sometimes, you know, I definitely have these interactions with them and like, you know, actually, you know, talk to the room and
Do they know like about your personal life?
little bits that I'm a college art student, you know.
So they wouldn't know like what your best friend's name was.
No.
But you still consider them like your good friends?
Yeah, because I think it's very public, and because it's so anonymous that, you know, there are going to be people that you trust and you can tell them who your best friend is, but then, you know, you also have to be aware of like, you know, the other, how many people in the room that, you know, don't know you or, you know, might be out to, you know, hurt you or stalk you.
I think it's valid that she like says that these are her friends because like when I have like somebody that's like Tumblr famous or whatever, and like all of my friends are like freaking out trying to like get all these followers on Tumblr, and like they want to like comment and talk to these people, and like all my followers are my friends, and they exchange and they have meetups, and I think that like obviously like by looking at her show and like reading the comments that is different than what we would normally expect from this site. Obviously look at the girl in advertisement, and like I guess like when I expect to like see something like this, that's what I would expect to see, but I feel like hers is different because I feel like some type of community has been built rather than just like some pervs come and watch some girlfriend or herself. I feel like they want to like interact with her more than just ramming into her.
I think that if people want to stay after class and continue this conversation, I'm happy to do so. We have to move on now, but